Everybody want to grow their business, but sometimes we don't want to do the work necessary to grow the business. Listen, that's life, right? A lot of things we know we should do and we don't do it. And on today's episode, we're going to give you 4 strategies from my good friend Jimmy Burgess of what you can do to grow your business, no matter what circumstances you're in. Just listen to what Jimmy shares and actually do them, and you'll see it. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we're going to be diving into the strategy, actually 4 strategies from my good friend Jimmy Burgess, how we can help you to grow your business. Now, Jimmy he's one of those people that's just infectious to listen to, just gives you so much energy and gets you pumped up. And he is with the Berkshire Hathaway organization, and Jimmy is the chief growth officer. Chief growth officer. So he knows a thing or two about growing and knows a thing or two about revenue. And on today's episode, he's going to share what he's doing to help his team, as well as that can help you to grow tremendously. Anyways, just listen. Dude is awesome. Let's dive into the episode. Welcome to the show, Jimmy Burgess.
How are you, my friend? How's everything going, Donald?
You know, I can't complain, man. Jimmy, I'm out here hustling, trying to become like the one and only Jimmy Burgess, learning everything I possibly can. So I figured, you know what? Let's bring this man back on a show. Clearly, he has done some things well. Clearly, he's doing some things well. And he's launching a podcast. So there's got to be a lot of stuff in there that Jimmy can help us out with right now, man.
I tell you what, man, this being home, over these last few months and everything, man, I'm lonely, Donald. It's good to talk to you. You know what I mean? I'm excited to share some stuff today.
Like, I need to talk to somebody.
Somebody, please talk to me.
Shoot. All right, man. Well, Jimmy, we're looking forward to that. I bragged about you a little bit at the beginning there. I told people what you do, but maybe you could go a little bit deeper. Tell us a little bit more about your position, and also, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about the podcast you're working on right now. We'll talk about that, push them towards that at the end as well. But give us a little bit of overview of what Jimmy Burgess does.
Yeah, so, I've been in real estate sales specifically for 27 years, over half my life. And as you can tell, I mean, this bald head doesn't just happen. And so I've been through all the different market cycles. I went through a time, obviously, where when I was in sales, built a team, had over $1 million in income one year. And then I wake up when the downturn comes and I'm sitting in bankruptcy court with $500 to my name. So I like to tell people that, in reality, there's nobody in our organization, or really very few in real estate as a whole, that wherever they are in their business, I haven't been there. So it's a unique perspective. And, I think sometimes the way that we heal our wounds is by helping other people with things we didn't get. Maybe that's giving some insight. Maybe it's giving a little bit of an idea. So after 25 years in this, the company I'm with, which is Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Beach Properties of Florida, Northwest Florida, I shifted into the chief growth officer position. And basically what my role is, man, I got the best job in the world. Literally all I got to do is wake up every day and just figure out how I can add value to our agents, help them grow their business. I handle all of our recruiting. So if there are agents that are thinking about making a change, I help with that. And so basically I do all of our training. Right now we're an organization. We have had substantial growth in the last 3 years. We've doubled in size. We are now this year, we'll have $1 billion worth of sales volume, and I manage about 220 agents. So it's been very nice. And so what this did is one of the things that we always found is for me, at least personally, is I found that the more I shared with the knowledge or things or troubles or things that had happened in my life with other people, the more I got back. And so when I came into this position, we started with doing a weekly video. And basically this video went out to all the agents in our market. It wasn't just for our agents. We just wanted to give in a way that we could add value, because as an industry, we're all better together. And so as I began to do those things, that really all of a sudden it started catching a little traction. And as we were doing that, just had some people that were like, listen, I'd love to be able to listen to this in the podcast format, whether I'm driving or whether I'm at the gym. And so what we did is we made a little shift here. And I really want to thank you for all the help with this, of being able to make that shift now where we're going to have it available in a new format, in a fresh format. And that'll be the Real Estate Sales Podcast. I'll tell you this, I think it's some things because we're spending some time with industry experts. And listen, sales is sales. I mean, listen, the difference is I'm a salesperson that happens to sell real estate. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody we're salespeople. And so I think there's going to be some things and some conversations where we're talking to people where if you're in a different industry, you'll have the ability to hear some things that you can apply in your industry that's going to be fresh and new that maybe nobody else is doing, that gives you that ability to kind of be a trendsetter.
One of the things that I've learned, Jimmy, over the years is that in order to be successful, do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. And this is
Absolutely.
what I want to pick your brain with some of these things, with some of these 4 points today, because like you said, there are things that you're doing right now in your approach as a realtor that may be different than the way that I might approach a B2B scenario. But that scenario, that strategy can truly probably put me in a whole different world because now I'm not going the same exact path as everybody, all my competitors who are doing the same exact thing, doing the same phone calls and so forth. So this is why we had to bring the Burgess. The
Hey,
Burgess.
let me say this too, Donald. I think this is a perfect example. I mean, if you want to
Yeah.
have growth in your business,
Yeah.
there's going to be two ways you can do it. You can either do it through more of what's been working, or you got to do new. And
Yeah.
so I mean, literally right before I came on, I got an email from our brand that was talking about the fact that, are you using video in your recruiting? Because there was a new study came out that 60%. Listen, we've been using video for 3 years.
Yeah.
So now it's not, if we're, the whole business pattern is you've got birth, growth, maturity, and then decline and death. So what do
Yeah.
we do when we get to a maturity level on some of the things we're doing? We either do more of it if it's working to have some new growth, or we got to find some new things. And I'll tell you right now, obviously the audio version and the podcast version is something that just makes sense. It's just another way that we can add value to the market that we know is going to come
Yes.
back to us. So
100%. Jimmy, we talked about getting this growth. There are four strategies before we started doing this call that we brought up that we could really do. Do you mind sharing with us those 4 things? And let's take a few minutes and talk about each of them afterwards. Is that cool?
absolutely. Hey, it's getting serious. I had to put the glasses on. I mean, I'm getting serious now.
Coming
Getting
over here,
old stuff is tough, Donald. I'm going to be honest.
being
It's not for the
professor on
weak.
me.
That's right. I know. Yeah. As I'm looking at kind of what is it that helps these, what are the strategies? There's some specific things we can do as salespeople to really help grow our business. And there's steps to it.
Yeah.
Everything has a pattern. And so when I was looking at this, really, it all starts with ourselves. It's the competence breeds confidence. I'm going to give you each of these and then we'll dive into them if that's okay, Donald.
Yeah.
So then, and once you've got the competence and you've got some competence, you've got confidence that you can go out and do the job. Now it becomes, what are you doing repetition wise? What are you doing consistently that's going to end up leading to building a reputation from you that gets you the opportunity to have more at bats as a salesperson. Also, then once you've got that, now we got to have some conversations. Ultimately, conversations leads to conversions. And so once we've gotten the conversations and we got the conversions, really that's where the beginning starts, where we can start compounding our business. And that's where we turn some of those conversions into raving fans, and those are then our referral sources. And so it's almost like a life cycle of the sales process, and we're constantly doing these things. And so you tell me, I mean, we want to start with confidence builds, confidence. I think that's where it all starts for everybody.
Please, let's go with that.
So literally, I mean, I think, I grew up, and I think some of us grew up, and even some organizations are still teaching this a lot of times, is that always be closing. Well, I've got to be honest, sometimes always be closing is not the way. We're more of a relationship type building process now. And so what does that mean? What I would say it's ABL, always be learning. What are you learning new? Are you going to be the most competent person in your field? Is there an area of your business that you're struggling with that you're like, I hope they don't ask me about that? Well, let me just say that if there's any area of that, unless we all got them, we all got those weak areas, go learn about that. Become the expert in that area. When I wake up in the middle of the night, it's dark. I can't see everything around me. I don't know what's ahead of me. I'm not really sure where to step. I'll step a lot slower. You flip that light on and I can see and I understand what's around me. I know what's ahead of me. I know where I'm headed. Man, I'm going to walk boldly. And it's the same thing with our competence. If we can get to a point where we understand our product, our service, our business better than anybody, everything else falls into line. There's never been a better time than right now. There is no reason for anyone to say, I don't know how to do that right now. You can go to YouTube, you can find a podcast, and you just punch in on YouTube and just say how to, whatever it is you want to learn, and a million people are going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of being disciplined in the fact that you don't ever get to a place where you get complacent and say, well, I got that figured out. We're always learning. We're always growing. Those are the areas that really it all starts with.
So many things that you go back to that, man. I'm a big believer, and I love the visual that you gave with the idea of the room, because I was thinking about it yesterday. We just came back in town, and we had my son's pack and play, and have it upstairs in the hallway. I wasn't expecting it to be in the hallway because I was walking around in the dark the other morning, and bam, tripped on that pack and play. But
Absolutely. It's and listen, life's that way, isn't it? I mean, literally, there's always going to be a pack and play. You know what I mean? It's always something that we're going to run into, you know? And so, but the more we can prepare ourselves for the opportunities that we're going to have in front of us, the more we're going to be able to take advantage of those opportunities.
And especially with that too, Jimmy, the reps that understand that. I mean, I just did an episode, and it's going out a week after this one goes, but it was this organization. They hadn't done training in like 10, 15 years in their organization. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how have you not done any type of training with, and this person it wasn't like somebody that wasn't willing to learn. It's just the industry-wise, they don't do a lot of training to their reps.
Right.
But this one individual was saying that she had she had experience selling pharmaceuticals, she had experience selling this and blah, 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 but then came to start complaining that things weren't working out in the industry, that things weren't right. And it came back to the fact that she became complacent. Like, yes, you did work for a big pharmaceutical company back in the days, and you may have done well then, but let's stop being Uncle Rico and talking about that high school football game, and let's talk about what's going on right now. How are you making money right now during these times? And the reps that are seeking those competency, seeking to learn, seeking to grow, those are the ones that are, they're pivoting and they're thriving.
What a huge opportunity in reality we've possibly never had in our lifetimes, to be honest, Donald, as far as, those that can shift right now, those that can become more competent, especially in new and better ways to service our clients. It's always the first one to the game that's going to win the game a lot of times. And so what is it that you're doing that's new and fresh? What are you exploring? What are you out there doing? Whatever industry you're in, whoever, find some interviews with people that are doing it right and listen to the things they're doing, the shifts they're making. It doesn't really have to be, I've always said it this way, Donald, we don't have to recreate the wheel. We just got to put our own rims on them, and we just got to spin our rim. You know what I mean? I mean, really, let's be real. It doesn't have to, you don't have to figure it out. You just got to figure out, how do I take that information and do it my way? And all of a sudden now you've taken the opportunity, and when everybody else is going, like you said, one direction, you're headed the total opposite direction, and you're getting noticed for that, and you're adding value in a way that just is drawing and magnetically drawing people to you.
Love it, man. Love it. Jimmy, the second point. What's that second point you had there for us?
Yeah. Second point is repetition builds reputation. I mean, in reality, if we're talking about the competence builds confidence, that's when we're talking about ourselves.
Yeah.
Consistency of providing value to the marketplace is where you build the confidence that the buyer has in you as the person that's selling. So what are you doing on a weekly basis to add value to the market? Right now, I would say there's never been a better time for video to be sending video updates on whatever industry you're in to your client base. There's never been a better time to use a tool like a BombBomb where you can video email specifically to someone where that repetition of every week they're going to get an update from me. Every month they're going to get an update from me. Every so often I'm going to get a text from them. When you do that consistency, all of a sudden that builds your reputation of, hey, this is a guy that'll follow through. This is a lady that is going to be consistent in what they're doing, and I can trust them. It goes back to the whole know, like, and trust process. Sure. In reality, you first off, by starting to be consistent, they begin to trust that you're going to be there for them. And once they begin to, now all of a sudden now your reputation's built, and the critical part of this is once you build your reputation, it's not just about you. It's not just about that person you're communicating with. It's all the other people that you're communicating with. It gives you that ability really to connect and have referral bases that you don't even see coming. I had this one time. I send it out every week, every Tuesday. The video goes out to the agents. With the podcast, every Tuesday, every Friday, we're going to be dropping episodes. There's going to be a consistency, almost a cadence that people can fall in with. They can trust that's what we're going to be doing. Sure. And when you do that now, all of a sudden people were coming to me on Tuesday afternoon. Hey, I didn't get it yet. I was like, oh. I didn't realize, Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I would say this, just find the things. There has to be some type of systematic approach to consistency in providing value to your clients. And when you do that, all of a sudden your reputation goes up. Those calls that you're making become different because now they feel like they know you. Now they feel, I had an instance where I was at a little festival in our area. I'm down in the beach area. This was back when I was selling a few years ago, and I was sending out a video to clients every week. So literally I'm doing the same thing I was doing, to my clients with realtors now. So, that I'm recruiting or that I'm training or that I'm coaching. And so literally I'm standing this line, this guy's about 5 feet in front of me, and he keeps looking back at me. And I was like, I grew up on a dirt road, Donald. I was like, we're about to move furniture. That's right. I was like, And so next thing I know, he finally just turns around and he says, hey, I just want to introduce myself. I don't even know if you know me. He said, but I'm on your mailing list. I get your videos. I've never responded to you. I just want you to know you're my guy. You're my guy. And he's almost apologizing for not thanking me earlier.
Wow.
I'm like, what in the world? But it's that repetition. He knew consistency. And then once you do that, that's when, especially with video, all of a sudden now you're in places and somebody comes up to you and tells you, hey, could you help me with this? You don't even know where it's coming from. So that repetition builds your reputation that then gets you opportunities you don't even see coming.
Wow, dude, that's so powerful there, man. I'm so glad to hear that. And probably the other thing to that too is like, people don't always like it. Sometimes it may seem, and I guess it goes back to this idea of with sales. Sometimes people, your fruit doesn't come right there. It's like you plant it, and then a day later, or a week later, or a season later, that's when it happens. And especially in this scenario, this dude, who knows how long he's been listening, but he's listening for a minute. Clearly, you're his person. And my wife, she said it the other day. She said that she's grateful for the city. Our city is sending out these emails, and she's never responded to one of their emails.
Right.
She doesn't know. She just opens them up and then she shares them with other people and shares them with me. Like a bunch of stuff going on in the community. She's like, here's some things we can do because they're locked up in the house. But the point is, the city probably doesn't know the outcome of the result that she's doing, but it's working. But if the city said, well, nobody is responding to our email telling us how thankful they are, and then she's going to be like, they're going to, this stuff will never happen, but you just got to take the action. And just like what you did it. And I think the reps who are out there listening, they're smart. They're the ones that are acting, and you act and just know that in a season, may not be tomorrow, but in a season, the rewards will come. But I just need to keep acting.
Depending on the industry, all sales work in a cycle. So for us, we kind of know it's a 60, 90-day cycle. So literally the way that we do a lot of our training is we have what we call our accountability groups. It's a 30-minute call. We base it on the book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, which is a tremendous book if somebody's not read that book. 4 Disciplines of Execution. And basically what it focuses on is it says you need to have one wildly important goal. Whatever that goal is for you. It could be transactions, it could be income, it could be whatever. So what we do is we have one sheet where we have a group of 10 to 12 people that meet on Zoom. They come on there and they say, my wildly important goal is this. Each person reports. It takes them less than a minute. And then it says, my leading indicators that I said last week I would do, because we're focusing on leading indicators. Listen, my weight doesn't have as much to do with what I ate this morning as it does what I did the last 60, 90 days, right? So from that standpoint, it's the same thing in sales. The things that I do today, I can make 1,000 calls today. Something may or may not happen. But if I make 1,000 calls a day for the next month, I'll promise you I know what's fixing to happen in about 60, 90 days. Yeah. It's about to get real exciting. Yes. So what we do is we focus on the things we can control. We know that basically in our industry, 50 conversations equals a deal. How many deals do you want? We back it down. How many conversations do you have every day? So when we get to that point, they say, this is my wild important goal. The accountability part, which is so critical, is that they say, last week I said I would have 50 conversations and whatever it is, I would hold whatever they're going to do to market their business. And then to the group, they have to say, either I did or I didn't. Now listen, there's nobody in our group. It's not like I'm as a moderator going to be like, Donald, you suck, you didn't do your things. That's not the way we work. You know what I mean? But listen, it's that little bit of back end accountability. I will say this, our meetings on Friday, Thursday afternoons are the most effective days of our week. Because I don't want to get on there and I don't want to say to you who I respect, Donald, by the way, I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I mean, it's just human nature. So that little bit of accountability. And then we say, next week I'll be doing these things. And then we talk about what are we going to do this week to get better in our business. You know, when you have that little bit of accountability, when you have that cadence, when you have some repetition, all of a sudden now that happens in a way that we can trust. It's going to build a reputation. You won't even see it. Those things start coming out of you don't even see deals coming. When you are consistently doing the activities, all of a sudden things that you didn't even see coming happen. Yes. So that's what's exciting to me is making sure that you've got that repetition in your business. You've got it in your communication with your clients or your potential clients, and that you just in general got it in your life where you can kind of almost And instead of riding the sales roller coaster of, wow, I had a great month. Oh no, I got to do it again. Instead of doing that, having that consistency of knowing that the steps I'm taking today, if I have, in my case, in our case, a lot of cases, if I have 10 conversations every day, 5 days a week, 50 conversations, I'm going to do almost 50 deals a year.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It's just the consistency that when the whirlwind comes, you stay consistent.
Amen. Man, I couldn't agree with that even more, man. Jimmy, this is some good stuff. This leads right into the next point here. Point number 3. You might hit us. Tell us what that one is.
Yeah, it's just conversations lead to conversions. Ultimately, you can send all the videos you want. You can post all you want on social media. But ultimately, people do business with people. And so you've got to get on the phone. You've got to have the conversations. You've got to ask the questions that lead to how can I help you.
Stop real quick. You just said something. I need you to say it again. You got to do what? Get on to what?
You got to get on the phone, man. That's where it's at. I mean, it hasn't changed. You know what I mean?
Get on the what?
I know. Hey, listen, let me tell you this. I had a funny story. I had a few weeks, this has been about 2 months ago. I had some people come into town from Louisiana that I knew. And they brought a friend of theirs that was in the insurance business. These are guys who are, big producers, one up in Chattanooga, one over in Baton Rouge. And they had a friend that was staying with them locally. And so I went and had dinner with them. We get done with dinner. We're talking about our business. And the old Cajun insurance guy sitting over here a little bit, with that little Cajun drawl. And he said, it was told to me this way. And for those that are listening, I've got my hand like a phone. He had it like the phone was closed, like it was on the receiver. And he said, broke, rich, puts that phone up to his ear. Broke, rich. If the phone's not at your ear, you're probably going to be broke. If you got the phone up to your ear and you're talking to people, good stuff's going to happen. Ultimately, you got to have these conversations. You've got to get in there with people and find out how you can truly help them. What are their needs? What are the pain points for them? If you don't have a conversation, you're never going to know how you can help them in a way. It speeds up the process of being able to identify. And ultimately, I don't build a relationship by somebody being on social media and, I really like them because of that post. I may think, that's kind of cool. But until I talk to them, until I take my wife to dinner, I can text my wife all day. But I'll tell you this, that's great. But for us to go have dinner and sit eye to eye and talk and discuss about things, that's going to be a different level. And we're in the relationship business. We're not in the transaction business. If you take care of relationships, the transactions will come in droves. So you can't build a relationship without having conversations. You can't have a sale in most cases without having some conversations.
Oh man, I couldn't agree with you more, Jimmy. I was talking to even one of my clients this morning. He's in the marketing world, and I was talking to him, and he was like, "Yeah, if you can get all inbound leads, that'll be great." And yes, everyone would be happy if all day I could have phones just ringing off the hook and people are coming to me. That would be fantastic. However, in reality of the situation, not every single business is like that. So instead of me sitting back just waiting, if you want hyper growth, there's a reason why companies like Salesforce have an outbound department. There's a reason why companies like HubSpot, who are big on marketing, have an outbound department. They use the marketing side to give them intelligence so they can know who to go after. But the key, though, you got to pick up the phone. You can't be scared. And I think that's where many people come from, like you're saying, the old school ways. Like, old school, the new school, old school way, where they're like, I just need to inbound only. And I'm like, that's baloney. The biggest companies who are going for great growth, they do outbound and they still do their inbound as well.
But it circles back to the competence. We were talking about having the competence to know what to say when you talk to people. In reality, you know how much you and I prep for this today? Zero, because this is what we do. We know it. So I don't have to sit here and think about, I hope Donald doesn't ask me this, or if Donald says this, I need to say that. It's who we are. Yes. So when you build your competence in a way that you're not afraid to pick up the phone, the only time you're not afraid to pick up the phone is about the fourth one. The first 4 calls are always going to be difficult. But if I have confidence that when I call somebody, no matter what they say to me or ask me, I'm probably going to have the right answer. Or I got the confidence to say, man, that's a great question. I've never, in 27 years in this business, I've never been asked that question. Let me see what I can find out. I'm as curious as you are.
You see the key there, Jimmy, too, and this is a whole nother episode for another day, but it's going into the idea of you asking the sales rep who can ask those meaningful questions, the agent who can ask those meaningful questions. Those are the ones that get the buyers to start thinking, and then it leads to conversations. Conversations lead to making money, not being broke.
That's right. That's exactly right. It's all about that phone. I'm telling you, ultimately, somebody said one day, with all these new tools and all the technology, if you could only use one tool, what would it be? I said, a phone. And I'm not talking about so that I can get on Facebook. I'm talking about so that I could pick the phone and talk to people and figure out how I could add value. It's still, I mean, sometimes the more, listen, I love technology. Obviously, what I love about technology is it gives me the opportunity to have a more meaningful conversation, probably does some of the prep work, especially with video and audio, where people kind of know who we are, you know, and it acts as a filter in reality, if we use it correctly, where there's some people that my accent's going to drive crazy. I know that. I'm never going to work with those folks. You know what I mean? And there's some people that are going to be like, oh, maybe I could, that seems like my guy. So that's what it does. It acts as a filter, but it ultimately means that instead of 50 conversations, now I can move it to 40 conversations equals a transaction because my competence goes up. And my confidence goes up. And then all of a sudden, I have the ability to identify what the person needs more faster so that I can help them better. And that's ultimately what this is being in that help business.
Love it, Jimmy. The last point here, Jimmy, the last one, ties back to referral. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the most frustrating thing for me is to see someone that does all of those hard work on the first 2 shifts. And let me just say this. Sales is hard to get started, especially. So after you've done all the hard work of building the people's confidence in you, where you could get to a place where they trust you, they know you, they like you, and they do business with you, and then the transaction happens and you never talk to them again. It drives me crazy because that's where the true opportunity is. If we're going to compound the business, it comes from referrals. And so what I like to say is that if you'll develop raving fans, they'll send you plenty of referrals. Oh, yeah. And what do I mean by raving fans? I mean, I know that you know the book, The Raving Fans. It's an older school book now. But basically, here's the concept, is that you take every opportunity to make someone, to give them something unexpected. What is it in your industry that is most unexpected? For us, and I can tell you this, if you'll go to Google, whatever industry you're in, and Google, worst part of whatever, or worst experience with, or like with real estate, it is biggest complaint for realtors. And if you do that for us, and it's in most industries, it is the communication. So how do you systematically change the communication? That's what we focus on. We want to make sure that they don't have any doubts about what's going on. So we really work on our systematic doing that. Where is it where if they've got, I had a client this past week that came in, man, he had the cutest 3 little girls you've ever seen. You know, they just bought this beach house and they were coming down. The girls were so excited, you know, and I mean, with everything going on. And so when we had our closing, I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you this. You can get me something and I'll be like, oh, that's nice. Donald sent me something. You send something to my kids, man, I'm going to be a friend for life. So I had three little T-shirts for the girls. And I just knew that was probably going to be more important than me getting them something else. When they're buying this $2 million house, me getting them a T-shirt, they're going to be like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I get it for their kids, the little girls, matching shirts, and they taking photos with them. That's a different deal. So what is it that's unexpected by your client? You know, Is it sending lunch to their office? Is it, finding out or seeing something that's important to them and making a donation to a charity that's dear to them? Is it something with their family? Is it noticing them when nobody else notices the fact that they got a promotion or they did something? Whatever it is, typically if you'll, like we were talking about, go against the grain. Most people, they go to the transaction, hey, it's been great meeting you, out. And they never talk to those people again. Really, the opportunity really starts the day after the transaction.
Yep.
You want to surprise them if you follow up in a week and say, hey, just want to check and see if everything's going okay with whatever it is they bought from you. When you do that, you've taken it to a new level. Now you're going to stay top of mind. Now you're going to talk to them every month or two. Now you're going to stay, and that's where the referrals begin to come. The referrals don't come because of what you did during the transaction. It comes what you do after the transaction, your follow-up, you're continuing to add value. And then all of a sudden, they're going to get to a place where they just can't help but tell people about you. They're going to be those raving fans we were talking about.
You know that Jimmy Burgess, man? I'm looking for somebody looking to buy a house. You need to talk to Jimmy. Shoot.
Yeah, he gave my little girls 3 shirts. You know? Something like that. Yeah. Whatever.
Shoot, I ain't got to buy them.
You know what I mean?
I ain't got to buy those kids clothes for like 2 months now. That's good. Jimmy, man, if there's one major takeaway you want folks to listening to this episode to walk away with, what's that one piece of advice?
I would just say, listen, right now more than ever, I think it's critically important that we invest in ourselves. And from a standpoint of, I love in being at events where I'm around other people that are my industry. And we've had a year that's been very difficult. We've also never had a time where you could connect easier with people that are in your industry and other places. I would encourage somebody, you want to really grow, decide you're going to start a mastermind with people in your business in other places and have a call once every 2 weeks where you guys just talk about one topic, whatever it is, a pain point in the industry, a question that you get asked. Don't wait on somebody else in your organization to train you. You go get it. Now, there's some great organizations. Obviously, we pride ourselves in providing the best training we can possibly provide to get our agents in a position where they can build the business of their dreams. But listen, I didn't have that, throughout my career. I had to go figure it out myself. And I will say this, the people that will push through a little bit of pain and just move forward a little bit and don't get discouraged all the time and train themselves, they're going to see this. I'll close with this story, Don. I had my son, I got a 13-year-old son. And he'd been home with us through COVID this whole time, man. I think he was sick of us, to be honest. He just wanted to be around some kids his age, So he starts back to school and he says, comes home the first day. He's like, I think I'm gonna run cross country. I was like, cross country running? Whoa. I said, what? And he's like, yeah, they run in the afternoons from 3 to 5. I was like, son, you telling me that you're willing to run 4 miles a day just so you can be around other kids? He said, no, I guess, but I just want to be around some kids. I was like, oh, okay. So he has his first meet and there's like 60 kids out there. Yeah. You got to understand, this build, I'm not built like a runner. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real, but so my son gets up there and he gets ready. There's like 60 people. I'm like, oh, this can go either way, confidence or not. Well, they run out into the woods. They come back around about a mile, and there's one kid who's probably going to win state this year in Florida. Yeah. He comes, and he's like way out in front of people. This dude looks like he's just floating on air. His stride is just gorgeous. And then you see this other kid coming in second, and and we can see like 50 runners back out coming out of the woods and everything. And I look and I'm like, man, did Fisher take a wrong turn? My son, did he take a wrong turn? He's in third place. What's going on here? And so he comes by, and I was like, son. As he's coming by me, I said, you're halfway done. You don't have but 6 or 7 minutes of pain left, son. Keep pushing. As he's coming by me. And he's like, he can't hardly breathe, And the pain's coming. And he ends up finishing third in that deal.
What?
And this is one of those dad moments. And let me just say this. I'm not proud of him because he finished third. And this is what I told him, Don. And I would say this to anybody. Because this is literally, to me, this is the key to life. Every single kid in that race, this is what I told him. I said, son, I'm so proud of you, not because you finished third. I said, but because every single kid in that race felt pain. They felt discomfort. And every fiber of their being told them to pull away from that pain, from that discomfort. And I said, but when that pain came and that discomfort came, and you decided, you know what? It's only 7 more minutes. I can do anything for 7 minutes. I'm going to run into this pain instead of away from it. I said, son, if you can apply that to every area of your life, if you can apply that to relationships, spiritually, if you can apply that when you get uncomfortable, where you know where to lean. If you can apply that in your business where when everybody else doesn't want to pick up the phone because it's uncomfortable and they're scared of the phone, and you're willing to push through that pain and pick up the phone and have conversations when nobody else will, life will be a wrap. This is what it's all about. And we always forget this. Every area of our life, listen, growth and comfort cannot coexist. If you're comfortable right now, I'm telling you, be careful. Because I'm telling you, decline is right around the corner. You got to continuously be pushing yourself a little bit into an uncomfortable place because that's where the growth is at. So I would just say this, and leaving everybody with this, go get uncomfortable today, man. Find something that you're not comfortable with and either learn it better or push through the pain. And I'll promise you, everything you want in your business and in your life is right on the other side of that pain.
Oh, Jimmy, we love that, man. And if as you're listening to the show, you're watching Jimmy here, and you want to get more of this, you're like, I need more Jimmy Burgess in my life. Do what I do. Go subscribe to his podcast, and also go ahead and follow him on YouTube. Jimmy, where can they find those? The name of the podcast is the Real Estate Sales Podcast.
That's right. They can find the Real Estate Sales Podcast. Also, the website is the realestateSalesPodcast.com. And if you go on YouTube, you can just, Google my name, Jimmy Burgess. It should pop some things up. And also, Facebook is the Real Estate Sales Podcast Facebook page. I believe it's in a transition right now. So it may or may not be when this airs. If not, it's real estate growth. And so you can find it there also.
Awesome. Jimmy Burgess, we appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and for giving us this wisdom, man. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, my friend.
See, what I love about Jimmy is just not only his southern accent and his energy, it's just that he comes with these things that are just so impactful that when you try them, it's just, you can see results. And that's why I love having him on the show. We did a program together years ago, and we just love having Jimmy whenever we can get him to come into our community and share these insights. He does have that new podcast, and I would love for you to go check it out. It is produced by TSE Studios as well, and you could find out all the great things about that show in the show notes, or just scroll down below. It is the Real Estate Sales Podcast, and if you're not in real estate, I still recommend you go and check it out. If you're in real estate, you should definitely check it out. But go ahead and find out all the details there. And speaking about details, if you haven't taken advantage of the deal from our friends over at Pipedrive, listen, you better go do so right now before they go realize what they're doing and actually take it back. They're giving us, instead of a 14-day trial, a 30-day trial of their system for no cost. And then they're giving us 25% off, 25% off for the first 3 months. You can't beat that. They're like giving this stuff away for free. So go to Pipedrive, use promo code at checkout. The promo code is Pipedrive TSE. Again, Pipedrive TSE. We want you to succeed. My friend Jimmy wants you to succeed. I want you to go out and find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.